Hey everybody, welcome back to another 10-minute Marvel video. I'm Petter, and today I'm going to be talking about the Fantastic Four because, well, today is the day that you can get your tickets for Fantastic Four. Actually, just paid for mine, Greg's, and our spouses to go see that on June 24th. So the preview day, the soft opening day, whatever you want to call it, we're going to be seeing it, and I'm excited for this movie. I can't wait for it. But there was a new little teaser trailer that dropped with it, plus what we talked about this past week on the 10-Minute Marvel podcast, the CCXP Mexico panel for Fantastic Four, and the new footage shown there. So I wanted to cover both of those and talk a little bit about what we see. First off, some spoilers if you want to avoid everything at this point. I mean, if you want to avoid everything at this point, you probably shouldn't have clicked on it based off of the title. But you've been warned, potential little spoilers in this. First off, we really get this clearer picture, and this is what I'm going to be spending very much the bulk of the time on, between the two new things, that this is going to be about Franklin Richards to at least some extent. We see a baby Franklin Richards in this new footage, or not new footage, well, yeah, in the new footage for kind of this teaser for the release day of tickets. And what does that kind of tell us combined with the CCXP footage? And I want to talk a little bit more about that to really set up this situation. In this footage, I believe it is a pregnant Sue Storm, as well as the rest of the Fantastic Four, in a spaceship, flying, being chased by the Silver Surfer, who is apparently chasing them down to get their child. And that's kind of the description that we got from this new footage. There. Now we also are revealing, I mean, they revealed the pregnancy, it makes sense, reveal Franklin as a character. I think the big reveal that we're going to see is truly what Galactus looks like. Maybe in the final trailer that they drop for this, but I'd love if they keep it for the movie. Though with toys and stuff, we've already kind of seen that. But this is kind of a big reveal for a trailer. Not so much the Franklin Richards one, but what they showed at CCXP Mexico. Because that seems like a fairly major plot point. Also, it seems like a plot point that should occur later on in the film. Now, maybe it's not going to occur later on in the film. Maybe it's going to occur within those first 20, 30 minutes of the film. But what does that then potentially tell us about the film? Because I think it could go one of two kind of different ways. And they're not that different, really. I think the first way is, this is later in the film. Franklin is born maybe halfway through the film. They try and figure out some ways on Earth to deal with the Silver Surfer and Galactus and try and not have to go into space. But they realize, no, we're going to have to go into space. We're going to have to try and run. That's our opportunity to save the Earth. We also hear Reed say, in the CCXP footage, that tells Ben to fly into the wormhole. So this makes me wonder a few different things about the movie with that as well. We'll get to that. The other thing would be, okay, this is later in the film. Maybe this is after the first hour and 15 or so, so there's still about an hour left. They've tried everything on Earth, they go. Or it could just be an initial reaction thing early on. I don't know that necessarily changes up the plot a ton. I do think that there's some interesting things now with this black hole and what they could do with that, because this scene from CCXP, Franklin's not born yet. So is it traversing maybe through a black hole, wormhole type thing where Franklin gets his powers? Or maybe Franklin becomes separated from the family for a period of time, hidden away in another universe, something like that. Is this how the Fantastic Four shows up in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene? There's a lot of different things that this could tie to. Now, if it's the Thunderbolts post-credit scene, that's weird, because that makes this feel like it'd be very much at the end of the film. And I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that going through the black hole with Franklin might actually be some of how he gets his powers. Maybe they go into the black hole to hide from the Silver Surfer while Franklin is being born. Maybe it's not that the Silver Surfer wants Franklin. Maybe it isn't a situation of like Franklin needs to be born. Maybe it's that the Silver Surfer's job was to get Sue Storm for Galactus to devour her and her child on Earth. Like, eat the whole planet, but because of Franklin's powers, that's why Galactus is after him. That's just a weird theory. I don't know that perfectly fits or makes sense. But it could be that Galactus kind of has a bigger picture of the universe and understands what Franklin is going to become or what Franklin can do. But I wonder if the traversing through the black hole or into the black hole might be how Franklin gets some of his powers. So if you're not familiar with Franklin's powers, in the comics, Franklin has the ability to create new universes. He's a very pivotal character for the Secret Wars plot. Basically, at the end of Secret Wars, he restarts the universes. He uses his powers, fully understanding the events of Secret Wars and how things have gotten to where they have. Now, there's a couple different interesting elements for me with that, because I've talked about the post-credit scene, I think a little bit before, either on the podcast or on a video, of the Thunderbolts, and I speculated that potentially this is a Fantastic Four ship where they left Franklin. Is there a scenario in this movie where they try everything they can do, but they have to leave Franklin and maybe Herbie on a spaceship that they send out into space and into a wormhole? They know that is a safe spot to hide Franklin. But when they go to find Franklin after they've dealt with Galactus and the Silver Surfer, basically like, what you want is not here anymore. We will defeat you. The sort of thing, maybe the ultimate nullifier or something like that comes into play, that they go back to look for Franklin and the ship isn't there. It's been pulled kind of through time, through space with a wormhole. And this doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to then have baby Franklin show up on the ship in Thunderbolts. I don't think that that's going to be what happens. I think that's going to be an opportunity potentially for Marvel to age up that character, to age it into a 12 to 15-year-old range if they want. And just the combination of what I'm trying to put together here, I think this could work. I don't think it's super likely. I think it's more likely that the whole of the Fantastic Four are on the ship, and that maybe they realize the only way to save Earth is to flee their universe. If they leave their universe, they can find somewhere else, maybe without Galactus, maybe with better future technology, and as they go through the wormhole to do that, they end up on Earth 616, or adjacent to Earth 616, and that's kind of what we see in Thunderbolts. But I would just love the opportunity for them to explain or to take some of that time, because this is set in the 1960s. How are they going? Are they going straight through? Does the wormhole cause them to adjust where they are in the timeline? How does that work? But that's just the new footage, kind of the new things that you can see, and maybe what it tells us about this film. I don't think it tells us anything massively new. I think they were very specific in terms of what they revealed. But let me know your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. And do you think any of these theories that I have tossed out here are right? And are you going to go see Fantastic Four opening weekend now that tickets are on sale? Drop a comment down in the comment section below. And if you enjoy this content, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel too. We appreciate that. And clicking that notification bell lets you know when new videos come out. If you want to check out the 10 Minute Marvel podcast, you can click onto the channel and then the podcast tab, or you can search for 10 Minute Marvel wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcast from. But with that, we'll see you next time.